Hi friends, welcome back to a new episode of Beauty History. I am your host, Allison Chase. Now, typically Beauty History is where we take a deep dive into the life of a fashion house founder like Coco Chanel, Christian Dior, and many others. But today, I want to focus on beauty and the history. I want to take a deep dive into past beautiful holiday collections because I'm intrigued by the notion of a holiday collection. Today we have an idea what that means in the cosmetic world, but was it always this way? Have things changed? That is today's video. But before we go any further, let's take a second to grab our iced coffee or a hot coffee. Let's take a sip and let's get started. Now, there is a new episode of Beauty History the first Friday of every month. That is the schedule that I keep here. And I have a little bit of light housekeeping. I would like to give a special thank you to some channel members here who gave me a thanks last month. A thanks button is sort of like giving me an extra tip if you feel inspired. So we have Elena Polshakov. She is a repeat offender. Thank you so much. We also have Heather Barber, Christina O'Connell, and Laura Lee. Thank you all so much. Thank you to those of you who watch and like and leave a comment, and a special thank you to those of you who use the thanks button. Now, when I think of a holiday makeup collection, we have so many on the go. I know it is early November, however, most of the brands have now come out with their holiday collections, and they tend to be quite extensive and a little bit formulaic, where we have eyeshadow, highlighter, nail polish, lipstick, etc. And I want to go through the past a little bit and look at maybe some vintage photos and look at some more recent collections, because the term vintage does not mean something that's 10 years old, but I'm going to show you the photos that I found. The first photo here is in color, which I was surprised. Now, this is a vintage Christian Dior advertisement for the holiday season. And if this lovely woman did not have a hopefully faux fur coat on her, you would actually see her waist tapered to show the classic new look, which is signature for the brand, the new look from 1947. It is this incredibly cinched in at the waist, extremely feminine, hyper emphasized hourglass shape. And we see a long, puffy pink skirt. So it's very cute. It's with Santa Claus himself. It's sort of giving me, I saw mommy kissing Santa Claus vibes. I'm not sure if this is her husband or her lover, but I think it's very cute. We can tell exactly what this is when we see it. We don't need any words. We know exactly what this is. But this here is an advertisement for the holiday collection, the holiday season, but we don't see any makeup, any cosmetics. We have this photo here, which is older than the first photo. This here is black and white. This is Chanel. Chanel, the regal gift. Chanel perfumes are ideal gift for the most fastidious lady. For superb, distinctive, world-famed Chanel creations to suit her changing moods, the varied occasions of these festive days. So we have Glamour de Chanel, Gardenia de Chanel, number 5, and Jasmine de Chanel. What is Glamour de Chanel as a perfume? I've never heard of this. This Glamour perfume must have been discontinued at some point. If you've heard of this, please let us know in the comments. Now I'm trying to zoom in and see what else we can read here. On the side here with the number 5 bottle, it says Chanel number 5, Gardenia, Glamour, world famous perfumes, ideal Christmas gifts. I believe it says the starting price is from $2.25. I don't know if this is American, euros, although at that point in time, I don't know if it would have been a euro or a franc or something else. And then underneath here we have a specialized size of the different perfumes. So it looks like it's a perfume and matching scented bar of soap. Now, interesting, this one here, this is interesting because here you actually get a bottle of the luxurious perfume and a creamy Chanel scented lipstick. This looks like the rumblings of the first holiday collections that we know them as today. And this set here was $3.75. So I'm not sure what the classic Chanel scent for a lipstick was or is. I don't know if they were spraying number 5 on their lipsticks or perhaps it's something different, but I think this is cute. And we don't really see, I'm trying to think now if we see much of the perfume and makeup combinations when it comes to holiday kits or holiday sets. They do always mention number 5 when it comes to the holidays. If you think of any recent advertisement for the brand, when it comes to the holiday season, we always see number 5. So interesting. And then on the bottom, the last set here says the Chanel 3 Moods, her 3 most successful perfumes in petite bottles. And this one is $7. Interesting. The prices sure have changed. I can say that for sure. I have another black and white photo here. So this here is Chanel Holiday, and this is 1960. So the idea of number 5 for the holidays has been around for, I think, as long as number 5 itself has been on the market. This photo to me looks like a very nice, wealthy couple. They look like this is post-annual holiday ball in their own home. Like this looks like it was in one of their wings in their estate. This is what this looks like here. It looks exquisite. It looks very romantic. It looks very elegant. It looks chic, but also we can tell that this has a vintage flair to it. However, this almost looks timeless. We know that it's vintage. It's in today's video, but I think you could show this to people now and they might not guess what decade it is. Obviously, the fashion for the woman is very 1960s, very Jackie Kennedy. I think it looks really nice, but there's nothing in the frame that's very dated. We don't have any radios, TVs, things like that. So this could be any time, which I quite like. This is very Chanel, very holiday number 5. It's very classic. So I tried to find holiday makeup collections from different brands, from the 90s, from different times, and I had a really hard time finding any evidence, really. I think that the idea of a holiday collection where we have now with eyeshadow and makeup and the entire kit every single year, I think this is a very modern take. Previously, it was more perfume based, and I even looked for the 90s and I really couldn't find anything. And so most of the collections I'm going to show you now are from the 2000s. I have this photo here, which I do not have a date for. I would guess 80s, 90s, possibly 90s. It says it wouldn't be Christmas without Chanel, fashion, fragrance, and beauté, but it doesn't say, like, you're not seeing the lipsticks sold, you're not seeing the eyeshadow. It's just a really beautiful fashion photo, of course, but we're not seeing, like, this almost looks like the marketing photo you would see at the beauty counter. And I would love to hear from you in the comments, for those of you who've been around for a little bit longer than me, if you remember holiday collections the way that we have them now, if you had them in the 90s, because I really tried my best to find photos online of vintage holiday makeup releases, and honestly, I didn't really find much up until the 2000s. Even for the 90s, any sort of photos that I found was very fashion-based and perfume as well. But even for different brands other than Chanel, I tried to find vintage holiday releases because that's the spirit we're in right now. And as far as makeup goes, I didn't find anything until the 2000s. And so now we are skipping forward to 2007. It's quite a time jump here. And this is Chanel. This is the 2007 holiday collection called Lumière Tropicale. This looks amazing. We have 2 palettes here, one called Lumière Soleil and one called Lumière Naturelle. The first one looks warmer, and this looks like a face, eye, and lip palette. And this to me looks like the Les Beige 9 Shadow palette. That's what it reminds me of. That's what I saw. I saw that and I was like, oh, we've seen this before. We've seen this with the Les Beige 9 Shadow palette. And then the second palette, Lumière Naturelle, is more cool toned. Again, you have face, eye, and lip, but it looks more neutral and the shadows look a bit more gray, more silver. What an interesting concept. I say this as someone who doesn't even purchase large face eye combo palettes here, but I don't remember seeing one from this brand in particular. I know Dior does many of these types of palettes even now, but I've never seen one from Chanel before. And I'm so intrigued. I'm so wowed. It looks so beautiful. In 2008, we have a collection here from Guerlain, and this is the Midnight Butterfly Holiday collection for the brand. I think this looks so pretty, so girly. I love the lavender metallic case. We've seen the brand use butterfly logos and motifs in their marketing before, but I didn't realize how far back it dates. The Mysterious Butterfly eyeshadow palette looks very lovely. It looks just girly, very feminine, very sweet. But this bottle here, I don't know if this is a perfume or some sort of pressed radiant powder puff. I just love the squeeze part here. Like this, I want to just squeeze it all over myself. It looks wonderful. It looks so girly. I love it. And then we have meteorite pearls. It looks like a compact, like a pressed powder, which is so gorgeous. I love the tiny little butterflies. I wouldn't think of butterflies and lilac for the holiday season, but clearly Guerlain did for 2008. And so let me know if you remember this collection here, because I would love to hear from you. And here we have something from 2010. This is Givenchy Holiday. And just a fun fact, if you have these collections at home, I probably wouldn't use them. I don't think there's anything wrong in keeping them for memory's sake, but I think using them on your face might be less than ideal. So here again, we have this giant face eye lip combination here in this little palette. It looks like a leather pouch where you just open it up, but it looks like a lip product and a mascara. And what I like here is that the lip product fits into the pouch, but it's not part of it. So it would be a little bit less messy. But these lip glosses, that is so like 2000s. This purple color looks so nice, and that pink, it just looks very lovely. And this nail polish, I want that so bad. It's so nice. It's so purple. It looks like it has a nice shift to it. It looks really lovely. Moving on to Dior, we have their 2008 Diamond collection, which is giving me a sort of punk rock vibe with the embellishment on the case here. It looks like a little face powder, and this eyeshadow quad looks gorgeous. I think the second to last shadow on the bottom, this sort of like lilac taupe color, it must have been stunning. It looks so nice. And again, we have a big face and eye palette from the brand that has like the zip all the way around, so you have like a enclosed leather case. What's interesting is that they have the mini mascara and a Dior Addict lip glow or some sort of product like that. But what I like here is that instead of it being in the palette where you have to scoop it out, it just fits in the palette, in the big case here. So it looks less messy. I wish they would come out with that again. That sounds so much more practical in my opinion. Now this is the same collection. These are simply the eye and lip palettes. Now this sort of looks like one of the quads that we saw earlier, or maybe it's a different one. Could be completely different lighting, but these are just little quads and they look like flip phones or something. It looks like a leather case. Maybe it's magnetized, but it looks like it just flips and just like snaps in place. That's very cute. And then we have these little lip palettes too. There's also a face palette. I remember Chanel used to do, did I say face lip? What words are hard. There is a makeup brush kit here, my goodness. And I remember that Chanel used to do this every year. I feel like they haven't done this in a while, but I like this because they're minis and it's just a really gorgeous gift. Honestly, these look like wallets. Like if you just saw it on the outside, I would think it was just a wallet. Maybe not the one that like flips and magnetizes in place. It's not a very safe wallet, but if it had a zip, it would look like a wallet to me. Now, 2009, the Dior Cristal Boreal collection for the holidays. I don't know who this model is, but I've definitely seen her a lot, especially in the mid-2000s. Her face is very familiar. And I think this is very ethereal. I love the purple. I love the nail polish that's matching the eyeshadow in all of its purpley glory. It says it was influenced by the ornate corseted gowns and decorative brooches of the 18th century Louis XVI style and inspired by the delicate, light-reflecting qualities of crystal. This is the Cristal Boreal Crystal Boreal Gloss Pendant. I thought this was just a piece of jewelry. No. There's lip gloss inside the pendant. That's so interesting. In the mid-50s, inspired by the magnificence of Versailles, Christian Dior asked the Swarovski Crystal House to create a crystal that evoked the reflections of the sunlight going through the famous Galerie des Glaces in Versailles. This led to the creation of the Aurore Boreal crystal with its unique multicolored reflections. For its 2009 Christmas look, Christian Dior Perfumes has collaborated with Swarovski to create this beautiful pendant here. And the pendant contains crystal effect gloss. That's so interesting. It's so extra. And the shade of the gloss is called Pink Crystal. That is so extravagant. Now, there are also shadows as well, and it looks like the single eyeshadows have the same crystal embossing as the pendant itself. I love this. I love purple. We need more purple eyeshadow in the world, period. But I love that there's 2 singles, 2 5 shadow palettes, the pink and purple lip gloss. Part of me thinks this is 90s, but I think it's more like 2000s, early 2000s, and this is still 2009, so it's sort of bleeding into that. I think this looks so extra, so girly. I'm here for it. And now the same year, Chanel did a collection as well, but this one here looks completely different. The tones are, it's much warmer. It's much more golden, much more gold hues. And what's interesting is, to me, this looks like a bird cage. I think it's very interesting in symbolism because sometimes you hear of like a gilded cage, but what an interesting concept for a holiday collection here. The Chanel makeup studio takes a flight of fancy this holiday season, inspired by Gabrielle Chanel's fascination with the brilliant plumage of exotic birds. We can definitely see the peacock hues inspired by this collection here in the model's eyeshadow here. Their lush beauty is captured in an enchanting holiday collection with shades of flamingo pink and peacock blue, accented with shimmering tones of green, gold, copper, and teal. How beautiful. I mean, again, we see this purpley pink lip color, a gorgeous nail polish. Who has this one? 365 Trapeze. Who owns this nail polish? Let me know. Now, this is what I'm excited about because look at this quilt. Look at this tweed. This is a highlighter, I believe. It looks like a highlighter, but it could be an eyeshadow. The tweeds are coming back. We've seen the tweeds in our eyeshadow and they're coming back with tweed blushes, but I own some tweed blushes, like the tweed brick blushes. Those were out several years ago and they're bringing them back. So I say bring back tweed highlighter as well, please. Gorgeous. In 2010, Chanel came out with their Temptations, Les Tentations holiday collection. Now this is very warm again. We see lots of warm twinkling lights in the back. I don't know what she's holding, some sort of tweed gold clutch. And this collection here, it's so Chanel, but it's different than what we see today. First of all, that pink gloss, they need to come back with glosses. They need to restock those. And that super bubblegum pink, not really bubblegum, but like that super Barbie gorgeous pink nail polish. We need that as well. And again, here is a tweed blush. I feel like a lot of times we see new products that actually aren't that new. They've existed before because we've seen these tweed blushes before. And it looks as though there are two sets here. There's a more pink tweed blush with a pink lip gloss and nail polish. And this quad here, I don't know what it's from, but if you bought the 2010 eyeshadow holiday collection, you might remember what it's called. And then on the side here, we have a look that's a bit more nude. There's a lipstick and a lip gloss. There's no nail polish for the more nude look. And it looks as though it's the same eyeshadow palette. Interesting. It's interesting that they didn't come out with like two separate ones for two separate looks. It's sort of, you know, a way to mix and match and create something different. And it looks like there's a liquid eyeshadow. I don't know what that little gray taupey tube is there, but it looks like liquid eyeshadow to me. Obviously is not lipstick and not nail polish either. Now, I don't know if there was a second tweed blush to go with it, but it looks gorgeous. Now, this collection here from Guerlain is gorgeous. Les Arts, the golds, the gold. Oof, this looks rich. It looks decadent. I love the quad here with the purples. I mean, who doesn't love a purple for the holidays? Apparently, I missed out. I was born a decade too late. I love purple eyeshadow. We need to see it more. But I think that this just looks so rich, so warm, so very holiday, very festive. And I love all of the lipsticks shown with the meteorite pearls. Even if I didn't tell you that this was Guerlain, you would be able to tell that it is because of the bees and the meteorite pearls. You know exactly that this is Guerlain here. Now, this collection here from Christian Dior looks stunning. Evening gold. I love the little clutches. It looks like a little eyeshadow clutch. It looks like it's a shell, and it actually looks like a little purse. So stunning, so pretty. I love the 5 shadow palette. Looks very, very smoky. And again, this like deep purple lip color. It looks like there's a second eyeshadow palette too that looks more gray. You can sort of see some of that bluish silver poking through, mixed with warm gold browns. What an interesting combination. And then there is this metallic, shiny, slate green, like a light green nail polish here. I think the model is wearing it on her fingers. What an interesting color combination. I feel like we don't see purple for holidays anymore. Was this just a fad in the 2000s? I haven't seen it since then, I don't think. And then last but not least, I have the Chanel 2011 collection, Les Scintillantes, the scintillating, the shimmering, the sparkling. It's a symphony of red, gold, and light. This is much more reminiscent of the holiday collection's present red, gold, light, warm, that sort of vibe here. But I am the most intrigued by this Sculpting highlighting powder here. I've never seen this sort of motif from the brand before. It isn't a CC, it isn't interlocking Coco Chanel, it isn't tweed. I don't know what this motif is exactly, but it's gorgeous. Mixing costume jewelry and fine jewelry was an integral part of style for Miss Coco Chanel. And so Peter Phillips, I love him, he was inspired by this for this design here. So he was actually inspired by a belt buckle worn by Mademoiselle in a photo taken from the 1930s. Okay, so this highlighter embossing is a belt buckle. How fascinating. Peter Phillips, man. Oh, he's so fascinating. And here again, we have a beautiful tweed blush. I think that Peter Phillips might be on par with Karl Lagerfeld as far as contribution to the brand of Chanel, because he has done so much for the brand, or he did so much for the brand before he went to Dior. But when you see the collections that Peter Phillips did, they're so good. These lipsticks look beautiful. They look kind of nudie, but kind of pink. And I love those glosses. The Rouge Allure Extrait de Gloss were my favorite. I'm so sad that those got discontinued. They were just like the thickest, richest gloss that didn't move, didn't budge. It stained your lip like a lipstick, but it was a gloss. It was so fabulous. They discontinued it. Maybe it'll come back because they always like reinvent the wheel and, you know what I mean, bring it back. But I want that back. And this nail polish looks gorgeous. I love that tweed blush as well. We have some eyeshadow singles. I wish the brand would come out with more powder eyeshadow singles. I know they're doing a lot of cream liquid, more liquid shadows, but I would really like to see more powder singles from the brand. Just my personal taste. I just like to do a little wash sometimes, just something really, really easy, very light. And so that is today's video, going through some, I don't think vintage is the right word. Well, some of the photos were vintage holiday collections, older holiday collections, going through memory lane and just looking at collections past. I really enjoy this type of thing. I love makeup. I love history. I love vintage things. I like looking at older collections as well because some of them are stunning. Some of them are pretty. Some of them are beautiful. It kind of jogs the memory and makes you think about previous collections. And those of you who have been collecting makeup longer than I have, sound off down below. I cannot wait to hear from you. I cannot wait to hear what you think of this type of format. Let me know if you enjoy looking at vintage makeup advertisements and ads for the beauty world. I would like to give a special shout out to several of the blogs that I've used today for these photos here. This would not have been capable or possible without the help of makeupalley.com, Temptalia, Sandra's Makeup Closet, Discontinued Makeup, the Makeup Museum, and Omorphia. So thank you all so much. This was quite a collaborative effort scouring the internet, and I was a bit disappointed that I wasn't able to find vintage holiday makeup collections, but it's possible that because makeup blogs sort of sprouted up, you know, mid-early 2000s, that's why I have those photos to use now, because bloggers were using and sharing those photos at the time. And so it's possible that makeup collections existed in the 90s or before, but I just don't have any photographic proof to show you today. So I cannot wait to hear from you. Make sure that you like and subscribe and leave a comment anytime you engage with my channel and my videos. It helps me out a lot, and I really appreciate all of your encouragement and support. Leave a comment down below letting me know what you thought of today's format. If you'd like to see anything else done experimental wise with beauty history, if you prefer the classic biography sit-down video, I understand. So just let me know in the comments which type of video you want to see next, if there are any fashion houses you would like me to discuss next as well. And on that note, I think that's all I have for you guys for today. So thank you all so much for stopping by. Hope you have a beautiful day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.